Our viewers, you are welcome to Point Blank Talk Show here on News Peddlers. Today, we are bringing to you topics ranging from Badagry, Nigeria, and around the world. My name is Manoah, Kikekon, and with me is Dovoeke. You are welcome to the show today once again.
Thank you very much.
Today, we'll be discussing about the recent issue on custom in a community in Badagry. We're in the process of trying to intercept some rice that were smuggled. Somebody was shot and eventually led to his death. And currently, his corpse has not been released and is still in the mortuary. But the people of the relative of the dead is maintaining that this person is a civilian and was shot at the back. What do you think? Because the custom is maintaining the side that he was killed in self-defense. And could it have been that somebody that attacked the custom officer and at the same time was shot at the back? Could that, how can someone connect that? Could that be?
Thank you very much. I heard about the incident and I felt bad. I felt ashamed of being a Badagry. It shouldn't be heard that in 2024, custom officers still roam about in communities. And I even heard that they even went on that operation with military officers, which is unacceptable. It is unacceptable and should never be tolerated. If Nigerian custom is incompetent in discharging its duties without military officers, then a vote of no confidence should be declared for Nigerian customs, and their works should be given to either the Nigerian police, or even if they think the military can do the job better than them, then their work should be assigned to the military. I see no reason why custom officers should move around when there is no war. You are not going to
with military men.
Yes, there is no war. Why should military men be coming to community? And that is why I respect Nigerian police.
These communities are not area of threat where we've been having either maybe kidnapping or banditry activities. There's no any record of that before now.
Exactly. So why should we, have custom officers moving around in local communities that are not even border areas?
Yeah.
With military men to apprehend a suspected smuggler. Before you name or label someone a criminal in Nigeria, it is only a competent court who can do that.
Yeah.
Your duty can make an arrest, but you cannot prosecute. What the custom has done by trying to kill the purported smuggler is that they have tried to become the judge and the jury.
They said it was done in self-defense.
Well, I don't understand how better you want to explain self-defense, because for me, the rules of engagement was totally ignored. You don't shoot someone from behind. It is wrong. It is unacceptable. Even I know of military and even in paramilitary, it is unacceptable. You don't shoot someone. That means the person is defenseless. If someone attacks you, then why must you shoot the person from behind? There are more issues to that. Then they should also come and explain to us how it can happen that the person who you claim attacked you was shot from behind. So there is more to this. They need to come and say something. And again, we need to stress it that the fundamental human right of this person has been jeopardized. You don't have any right to kill. You are holding a rifle. It does not mean you have the right to kill. You can make an arrest, release the person to police, let them prosecute the person through the courts.
It's even said that before now there have been a series of events that happened like that. Somewhere close to the border area where some people were shot in the process of intercepting smugglers, and they were running up a helter-skelter. They ran into the community, and the people were shot right in their room. People were shot within the community.
That is height of barbarism. This barbaric act must come to an end. It is no longer acceptable in 2024. We are no longer in Stone Age where things can go and nothing will happen. This is a time of global age. It is an age of technology. Custom does not need to even start running after criminals. You can even get details of criminals and make an arrest through the police right in their homes. So I don't see any reason why custom should be shooting around border communities and even killing people in their homes. It is wrong. It is unacceptable. That's the height of, we can even say that is terrorism in itself. People that are living in border communities, they are equally Nigerian citizens, and they should no longer. So fine, some of them are involved in smuggling. We said it last week on this show that look, it is not enough to condemn them. That we are not supporting them. We are not saying what they are doing is right.
It's totally wrong.
It's wrong
since it's against the law.
Exactly. But what we are saying is that you need to make constant community engagement with these people. You educate them. Customs should stop the idea of looking for informants who will give them information. Okay, they are coming, and for you to come and start shooting around the border community or different villages. No, it is wrong. They should rather use their resources to come to those communities, engage them, reorientate them,
give them reason to do something
education, and then look for means for you to rehabilitate these people and for them to become more better people than who they are. If they see reasons that what they are doing is wrong, they will equally stop. But if you look at it, on most occasions, custom officers are more corrupt, and the EFCC is not trying to look into that direction. They are very corrupt. In fact, they are happy with smugglers. Custom officer will never pray that smuggling activities should stop in border area, because if they stop, they will no longer make money.
I think that's topic for another day. And apart from what I cited earlier, there's another one that happened a few years back, where it's still the same, this Badagry, where a boy was coming from school. In the process where smugglers and customs were interchanging bullets and guns, this boy a stray bullet got to this boy and was killed. My question is now that, is this happening in every other border communities within the nation?
I think this is the right time for Mr. President to look into this. Mr. President should no longer sit down and allow his own people, especially that the president is equally from Lagos State.
Yes.
And he should set up a committee who will look into border crimes. Border crimes does not only involve the issue of smuggling alone. It involves series of crimes that are committed, trafficking and all of the rest, plus including custom illegal activities. It should be included in their watch list. They should look into custom activities around border towns and other. We are now talking about custom because it is becoming a recurring issue. There are other agencies who are also involved in this series of extortion and the rest in border communities, that they are threatening the existence of the people. But custom, there should be a panel that will be set up, that they will have to look into custom activities around borders and how they have carried out their activities over the year, and it has remained unchecked. This is the right time for the president, especially in Badagry, because it has become a series of issues have happened in Badagry and it has gone unnoticed. But probably because there is no consequence for those actions, more custom officers still think that they can start their aggravation and go with it, and nothing will happen. So there should be consequence for those actions. If there are consequences, I am sure that no custom will say he loves Nigeria better than Nigerians. That is why I love the professionalism of Nigerian police at some point. If they are truly interested in doing their job, no matter whom Nigerian police officer will arrest, this word is very common with them. The person is still a suspect. Even though you are arrested in the point of that criminality, Nigerian police will still tell you still a suspect. That this person must be taken to court, tried before becoming a criminal. So it's professional. But you just see people carrying rifle, and that is why we need more educated people in our institutions.
Yeah.
We need proper orientation.
Even
People should go through right orientation
from some eyewitnesses that was at the scene. After several investigations, it was even discovered that the person that was killed was not even the one that attacked the custom or something, because there are several information flying all around.
Definitely you should expect that. And you know, I've even seen different information from the side of customs to trying to defend what has been done, but the stories are even contradicting itself.
Yeah.
You know, different stories even coming from Nigerian customs. But the truth of the matter is, when issues like this happens, there will be different information flying around. You know, people will definitely want to see what they think was the scene.
Yeah.
So even those who did not get to the scene will equally generate and fabricate some stories just to, you know, claim right or wrong. But I do not see Nigerian custom that they will definitely want to accept, or try to, you know, defend that action. They must definitely label it towards some things. And if it is true, because I have equally heard another one too, apart from what you just said now, I have equally heard another one that the custom is trying to, you know, appeal to the family to sign an undertaking that they will not prosecute a case in court. If truly the issue that custom was issuing, that it was an act of self-defense, why should they appeal to the family that they should not prosecute you know, the case in court? They should not, you know, go for court
to come and sign an undertaking to that
the family should sign an undertaking that they won't go to court. Definitely something is fishy.
Thank you. We believe that the stakeholders that should take steps, the right step on this regard, even the presidency, in terms of making sure the people of Nigeria are safe. But most importantly, in Lagos State and Badagry, we hope in a couple of days' time there will be a resolution where both parties will be properly, where the issue will be properly addressed. Because I think the person that was killed, he still had a very little kids and and the wife. So, and I think the government the government of the day knows what to do and is as responsible as not to let the wife and the children suffer, at least in terms of making provisions and doing the right thing for the family. Secondly, we'll see that during the week we had there was a strike, just let's say 1 day and a half or 2 days strike that happened through the NLC declared a strike as regards that there is a need to increase the minimum wage. The minimum wage before now is pegged at 30,000 naira.
I think what the position of the union was that it should be 495,000 or thereabouts. So there was now negotiation.
There was continuous negotiation.
That was what led to strike. So since government is not turning out, Nigeria Labour Congress is saying 16,000 naira is no longer realistic for the current Nigerian
for a living wage.
Exactly. So that is why their position is that
there will be a continuous negotiation.
As now the government is not even showing interest that they are ready to, you know, increase the minimum wage.
So looking at my own take is that, looking at the current economic situation, what do you think the minimum wage is the option instead of regulating the economy and making it things affordable for common man on the street? Because looking at the number of employed people to the ratio of people that are not employed, do you think that is going in the right direction as regard even the people in the market will see it as a means to justify the high price of things and to even make it higher, because the government is now paying you more now, you should pay more for every commodity? How about those that are not government officials, who are not employed? So what do you think? Do you think this will help the economy at all?
Well, I think what should be done is that, you know, as against the backdrop that whether there should be a stability in the economy, that is non-negotiable. Economic stability should be the priority of this government. But at the same time, I've equally said it some times ago that the 494,000 that was requested proposed by the Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC is not realistic. We need to be sincere with ourselves. If Nigerian government is paying that kind of money now, people should stop the idea of trying to compare Nigeria economy with other economy.
Yeah.
What we have in Nigeria now, we don't have any working economy. Our economy is dying. So we need to wake up to that reality. And waking up to that reality, let us use what we have on ground judiciously in order not to destroy the remaining one.
Yeah.
So now, having considered, of course, we know people will still argue that what about the role of corruption and the rest. But then let us not look into that. If Nigerian government can actually stabilize the economy, if we have a single digit dollar rate, if the dollar can be stabilized to a large extent, if the proper things are done and the economy is working, if we are producing and we have a reduced pressure from the dollar itself, and there is this deal that was signed between Nigeria and China, Naira Yuan swap deal.
Yeah, it never saw the light of the day.
Exactly. If things like this can work out, and there is high reduction of pressure, Nigeria trade more with China. If there is reduction of pressure from the dollar, then I think the Naira will become strengthened. And if we are spending the Naira more and more, the Naira will keep on appreciating. But before you know it, we have a more reasonable, Naira to the dollar exchange rate. If even let's say as bad as it may seem, if dollar can still return to 400 Naira or 300 Naira, which is a 3 digits, I think that is still a better thing.
So Nigerian inflation now has gone over.
It is hyperinflation.
Over unexpected.
It is now a problem that NLC just have to do something to protect the interests of the Nigerian workers, which is why it has proposed what it has proposed. But for me, I think 150,000 Naira, of course, people will still argue that 150,000 Naira is not enough to buy you only buy a bag of rice, and you buy some little food stuff, and the salary is gone. How do you pay school fees? The negotiation of 150,000 Naira for minimum wage will still be a better option for the economy, and government should keep on fighting to stabilize the economy. But on the other hand, now government has shown interest. In fact, there is this problem I've been having with this administration. You see a report coming from one corresponding office of the government,
there
will be another office
who
will now come out to discredit the earlier information
from another office in the same government.
It shows that there is an issue of communication between them.
Yeah, there's no synergy.
There is no synergy. So you see, I've seen a report that has circulated on almost all national dailies that the federal government is through the office of the finance minister is trying to propose 105,000 Naira to the president as the new national minimum wage. But I've equally read another report from the information minister who is saying the information does not emanate from
his own office,
from the office of the finance minister. I now wonder what's wrong. Where are we getting it wrong? But the issue is that if government can actually pay 105,000 Naira, people need to understand that minimum wage is not basic salary. It only shows that for anybody, any Nigerian worker
that will get
must get a minimum at least amount of 105,000 Naira as take home.
So some people are getting much more.
Of course, minimum wage will now determine how much other people will get. At least if you have a driver or you have a cleaner in your house, at least the minimum amount you can pay them is 105,000 Naira. Now, if that is agreed upon, and Nigerian government can as well try as much as possible to stabilize the economy, I think Nigeria will come out of this mess that it is.
But what another thing that some people are raising is that looking at the money that is being paid to the House of Rep member and the Senate member, that why can't they also get the minimum wage? Why can't their salaries be at par with the government worker? At least they are still government. They are all government officials and government. Where do you see the salary of the Senate members in millions? And
the issue is that, you know, we cannot say anywhere in the world you don't place, you know, elective officers on minimums. You don't do that. You know, they have a limited time in office, and they should, you know, have some money that will, you know, encourage them to discharge their duty effectively. We equally know that the salaries of, you know, these people and other, you know, money they get in their offices are just too much.
Exorbitant.
They are exorbitant, and this is not in the best interest of the Nigerian economy. But even let's leave it at that they deserve that they should get that. Where I have been having problem is not what they get, but about the corruption rates. You still see them awarding contracts, non-existent contracts, and they embezzle those money. That is where I have problem with them. Those money they are getting, they can as well claim to be using it for different purposes. Yes, we can understand. But those money that are equally awarded to contracts, if it is used to those contracts, I can tell you, we won't be discussing about how much is the salaries of senators, how much is the salary of the president or the governor. We won't be discussing about that, because we will have had enough development in the state,
in the nation.
So, but because there is grand corruption, that is why we are still thinking that their salaries are too much. But if truly they discharge their duty without corruption, you know, we won't be discussing this as a problem. My professor will always tell me that he is not even interested in the amount they earn. That they can, even if they have to be corrupt, let them be corrupt 30%, and they should use the remaining 70% for Nigerians.
Yeah.
If it is done that way, Nigerians won't be complaining. But what we have been seeing is that, you know, they try to use 70% or 80% for themselves, and now put 20% on the altar of all Nigerians.
On the last topic for today, we'll be looking at South Africa election, and South Africa just did the election this past week, and the result is not yet concluded, as there's need to form a coalition because ANC is not winning the majority during the election. And don't you think, I was thinking before this election that EFF, which is under the Malema, I was thinking that Malema will win the election, because looking at his radicalism, his interest in Africa, Afrocentric ideologies, and so what do you think he did wrong, or what do you think? Don't you think he has done some miscalculation as regards his campaign strategy?
You see, one thing about Malema was that his radical approach was to the extreme. You know, sometimes if you want to, the best way to keep your food hot is to keep it in a cooler. It's not to expose it to the air.
Yeah.
But Malema did
and people will enjoy it better when it's hot.
Exactly. So Malema did not keep his food at all. He exposed it to the air, and the food got cold. You know, he threatened the existence of so many people.
Yeah.
His Afrocentric policy is just a rejuvenation of Gaddafi's ideology, and look at what ends Gaddafi. So the global world will not even watch Malema to become the South African president. If Malema becomes the president of South Africa, I can assure you that he may likely nationalize so many foreign investments in South Africa.
Looking at some of the points of Julius Malema was with the ideology that when you look at Europe is without border. This should be applicable in Africa. That how can you want to travel to other African countries and you will need visa to travel, that Africa should be borderless. Africa should have a single leader. Africa economy should be better than what it is. And he was even saying that some of the land that was taken from the indigenous people of South Africa will be recovered. And looking at it, that he is even saying that the areas that is black dominated are less developed in South Africa. They don't have water, they don't have light. Don't you think he's even more people concerned compared to other parties that are not with such ideology?
Yes, I think he's let's look at Malema as a pure African man who is concerned about Africa. And that is why he raised the issue of a borderless Africa, where you can easily move from different parts of Africa without the restraint of getting visa. But again, we need to understand that for him to start the actualization of this goal, let us look at regional economic integration that across Africa.
Okay.
Have they truly been integrated economically? So if we actually get it from that,
ECOWAS, for example.
Yes, look at ECOWAS. There is barrier. Both human and goods have barrier. They cannot move from one country to the other without border. So the barrier is still there.
There are several agreements within this country.
Yes, look at SADC in South Africa too. Yeah. Southern Africa Economic Development itself. The issue of barrier is still there. So for anybody to think about coming out to champion the agitation that you must get a borderless Africa, the person must first of all start regionally. Once there is regional success, then you push for continental success,
unity.
But if we still have issues at regional level, then to get a continental success will still be an issue of doubt. And if you look at those who created those borders in Africa, did that specifically for economic purpose, economic extortion of Africa. Yeah. But after they must have left, should we still continue with their border framework? These people only did all of these things mainly because they are trying to protect the interests of their own state. Now look, this place belongs to us. Don't go there. But today, we still continue with all of this structure. So it's not in the best interest.
Today, can we say they have left outrightly? Looking at some Francophone nations and some other...
yes, we know that they left practically. Or let me say they left theoretically, but practically they are still here. The issue of neocolonialism is still in every aspect of Africa. And that is why you look at the recent Nigerian election too, where people still have to go to Chatham House, to discuss their own campaign issues over there. Yeah. You look at it, when has, the British Prime Minister ever visited Nigeria to discuss their own, political issues?
Let's even say any African nation.
In fact, when have you seen the US president visit Nigeria? The highest you will ever see visiting Nigeria is either Secretary of State or some other secretaries of the US. But you look at it, Nigerian president, you must visit all of this country before you even think about ruling your own state. And even you have to work with their dictates. But again, I will tell you that it is not, the state do not respect the size of your country. Yeah. They only respect the economic power and what you have to offer to the global community.
And your policies.
And that is why you see now the way people treat China today is no longer the way they treat China in 1960 or 1970. Yeah. Because China's stories has changed. And it has become a global economic competitor, even with the US. So now you just have to respect China. So if Nigeria can actually, or African states who equally want all of this, can develop to such a stage that they will be respected globally, they will have that strong economic and the will to develop Africa itself, they will be respected. So we just have to deal with our own problem first before trying. I saw one video recently where a former prime minister, I think of Burkina Faso, was beaten. He got beaten seriously. And you look at it that look, this man he has embezzled a lot of money, and the people who were beating him were asking him, where did you keep them? Are you promising us that you will return those money? And he said, please, I will return the money. They are speaking French because I don't understand French, but there is a transcription. So he was saying he was going to return all of this money in exchange for his life, that he should not kill him. So if actually we can get rid of corruption, look at most of those money he has stolen. It's not even within that country.
It's not within the economy.
It's not within the economy. So if it is that they are stealing the money and using it to develop the economy, Africa will have developed more than this. We have a lot of Nigerians who own a lot of investment in Dubai.
Top government officials.
Top government. So that is the problem. If all of this money they are stealing, they still use it in developing Nigeria, Nigeria will be more developed than how it is. So that is the problem we are having with Africa itself.
All right. We hope that in a few days we'll see the outcome of the election of South Africa, and the government is able to come to a conclusive and a realistic end. Our second point as regards the international issues, the Ukraine-Russia war continues. As we all know, it has been a war that is almost everybody is like forgetting the war, but the war is still there, ongoing.
But when war becomes something that is prolonged, it becomes part of the people, and people get used to it, and people no longer talk about it consistently, and that is why it seems like the war in Ukraine seems to be forgotten. Some people will even ask that is there still war in Ukraine?
So now the US President Joe Biden is coming out to say he's sorry that there is a delay in supply and every other thing. What message is that sending? Does that mean the war is not going to end anytime soon, or US is just still interested in funding and not even looking at a means to come to a negotiation table where these issues will be addressed and a realistic end will be achieved?
Against the backdrop of the argument of the point of Russia, let me say that Russia had earlier thought that while the war started, within 3 days, they will have dealt with take over. Yeah. But with US funding in that war, the war has prolonged for more than 2 years, and we are still talking about.
To wrap it up,
if the US funding is still one important aspect of that war. With the US funding, and Joe Biden has apologized that he's sorry for the delay, that some conservative member of the US Congress actually delayed the process of those aid, and that is why they have some delay. But now the funding will start flowing in. So
and the war will continue.
And the war will continue. We are not expecting that war to come to an end anytime soon. So these are some of the issues to this crisis in that region.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, our viewers. This is the Point Blank on News Peddlers. Thank you for your time, and thank you.